intelligence to your Python apps by Saurabh. And Saurabh works at Microsoft. So, here is Saurabh.
Thank you. Hey, hi, good morning, everybody. It's working, right? This one? All right, cool. So, hi, I'm Saurabh, and I'm going to talk about how you can add intelligence to your Python apps using cognitive services. How many of you are working on machine learning here? One. All right. All the others are just like me. Even I don't work on machine learning. But I can use machine learning to build my apps. That's the part. So I'm going to talk about cognitive services and how you can add these services to your Python apps. But first of all, what are these? These are a host of services that lets you build apps with powerful algorithms using just a few lines of code. Now, this is something that Microsoft Research has been doing for a lot of years. And just a few months back, they released these services to the public. And it's still in preview. But these are, think of these as machine learning APIs which have been exposed to the world for you to consume. And why do we need them? The main part, because it's REST APIs. You can simply call them from any platform which you want. It's not only limited to one language. You can call it from your mobile application, be it Android, iOS, or any other. It's simple to add. It just requires a few libraries. I mean, if you know how to call a REST service and use the response coming from those REST services, you're good to go. It's flexible, it's tested, and it has quality documentation, sample code, and community support as well. It's divided into 5 parts: vision, speech, language, knowledge, and search. Now, I'll go through the slides quickly because the cooler part are the demos, and I'll need some volunteers for the demos as well. So I'll ask one or two of you guys to come up on the stage and help me. But as you look at it, the first one says vision, so it will tell you, it will try to explain about the image which you're showing to it, or the video which you give the input to. So it will start analyzing those images or those videos and give you the outputs. I'll tell you what they look in real. We have speech APIs in which you can do speaker recognition and multiple other stuff. Then we have language support, knowledge support, search. So knowledge support, a cool example for that is like product recommendations, where you guys, all of you guys use Amazon or Flipkart, right? Where you can see what are the products that you're likely to buy next. Now, these are just some APIs that Microsoft Research created for telling the product recommendations based on your previous history. So in that, you can use the Knowledge Explorer APIs and the Product Recommendations API to do that. We have Search APIs. This uses Bing for images, videos, web pages, and all of that. Within that, also, we have a lot of things. I won't go through all of them. Anyways, I don't think this is visible very clearly. But yeah, with face APIs, we can see things like face rectangle, feature attributes, and stuff like that. Now, I'll just quickly jump to the demos. Now, I have the demos in my Jupyter notebook. Any of you guys working on Jupyter? All right, so for those who don't, it's a very easy to use environment where I can run my Python programs, and it gives me some cool features in which I don't need to think a lot. It gives me some libraries out of the box as well. And within that, the first example which I have is of a face API. And in this, before I go further, I'll show you what this should actually do. Now, these are images, and I can choose any of these images, and I can upload images and do all of those stuff. And the result which it should give back to me are these. It tells me that there are 2 faces detected. This is the face ID. What is the face rectangle? So it will start marking those face rectangles on top of it. So if I'm using this in Python, I'll use some other libraries as well, which will help me to play around with images and read those images into an array and sort of those things. Then it tells me multiple other things: eyebrow, left outer. A lot of things. I mean, we don't even need all of these things right now. But once I start using this in Python, now these are Jupyter notebooks. I'll tell you the links later from where you could get them. But at the top, I'm just importing some modules. I'm importing NumPy, CV2 as well. And the only part which you need to get from the portal here is the key. So all of these things which are available on the website, they have a free subscription in which you can get, say, 30,000 transactions per month for free. And once you get that, you get a key which you can use in any of your applications to call these APIs. And once that happens, there are some helper functions which I have where this is used to process a request. So I'll pass on some parameters, JSON headers, and the parameter which I want from the API to come back to me. Then I'm just using simple the URL libs and all those things to get the requests from my parameters. So if you look at this, the URL which I have will be passed to this endpoint. This is the endpoint which you can go ahead and start analyzing from. After that, I just print what is the message that I get back, and if the number of retries are less, if I haven't gone through 10 retries, it will go try to do that again and come back. But if the response is okay, 200, 201, it will check what if my content length is 0, it will give me a result of none. But if it tells me that the content type within that is there, and I can directly see the result from my JSON parameter which I get from the response, and within that, I mean this is just simple stuff. You guys can directly see. There's no rocket science here where this is just calling APIs, getting the response from it, and returning the result. And after that, once I want to render a result on image, so I just want to draw some rectangles on top of it. So I'm using the CV2 library, CV2 module to draw rectangle and the part where I could shade that this is the phase that I've detected, and simply write on top of it. This is the URI that I want to give to my images. Now I have some URIs already with me. So if I'm looking for the face API, now face API will give me a lot of things, and within this, if I just go at the top, there are face attributes within it which tell me what is the age, what is the gender, and other stuff like that. So I'm just calling this part from the API and nothing else. So well, I am doing this. If you check this out, the parameters that I'm passing are age and gender, and just give me back the face landmark so that I can just detect that the face is there. And once that happens, I'll load this image into the URL, enter it, and just do this. Now it hits my API, cognitive services. It tells me the age, Sachin's age. It's showing him younger, which is actually not how it usually does, because it usually shows people older. But this is the image that is there on the URL. It will start detecting the image and start showing you. Again, nothing complicated here. It's very simple to use, and you can start directly using it. So if you guys want to have play around with this, there's a website called howold.net, if you haven't heard of this, where you can put up your own images and see what is your age depending on your image. And just one thing though, this isn't exact because it's machine learning. It keeps on learning and gives the data back. So use this photo. All right. Anyways, it tells here so this is 36. So all this stuff. Then I have a simple example of an emotion API, and in the face API itself, so we had this one example where I could directly load it from a local system file stored on disk. So if I just come here, copy this, analyze this, start analyzing this again, it will start telling me the ages of multiple people here. And again, this is what usually happens. It tells some of the ages are correct here, as you may see, some of them are not. But yeah, this is an example where you could use this API and start analyzing images on top of it. So it will tell you what are the ages of multiple people here. All right. And this is one cool thing which I wanted to find out. What is the age of Mona Lisa? Anybody knows that here? Any guesses? 30? So I didn't know that, so I asked these machines to tell me. And thankfully they start analyzing Mona Lisa's image as well. it should start hitting the API now. Okay, internet is fine. Or it tells me it has a busy status. So don't worry, I'll come back to it. I'll show you the age of Mona. Okay, it's here. So it's 25. That is the age of Mona Lisa in the painting. Cool? Alright, so just have a look at a few quick demos again. Emotion API, as it tells you, it should start telling you the emotions of the people involved in that photograph. Again, same code, nothing different. I'll just send a post, get a reply back from it. Simple Python code, and take some parameters out of the response that are coming back. In this example, I'm taking face rectangle and stuff like that. So if I want to say get an image, this one. Once this happens, I'm just printing out some parameters here. It tells me at the top that the surprise parameter is it has a maximum confidence level, 99%, and it will again detect the face and show that this is the emotions that you're getting. Again, multiple cool stuff that you can do with these things. If, for example, here, if I want to take this, so this is a part where I can just go back and check out what are the emotions when Matthew Hayden was with us. So you could see all of them happy. Okay. All right. So there are some more stuff where with the computer vision API you could start analyzing those images. Now this is something that we guys also use as part of our internal hackathons at Microsoft, where we build solutions. So there was one which we built. I wouldn't be able to show that to you right now, but in that, say if for example you want to detect whether there are gun shootings taking place in US or not. So based on the photographs, you can capture the images and start analyzing those images and tell whether there's a weapon or there's a gun within that image, and based on the confidence level of that status coming in, you could take immediate actions. Now this is just one part where cognitive APIs are in use and you could start using them, but it can build a pretty nice application. That's still in development though, so let's see how that takes shape. So this is a part where I can use the computer vision API, and this is the same thing where this is the thing where we were doing a dev sprint that day, and it tells us the analysis of what's going on. So at this part, it tells me that there are people in this thing. If it wants to find out the caption of that image, you can do that as well, because there's a reply coming back which has caption, and it tells you the caption. Again, the confidence level. There are men. It's indoor. They are posing for a photograph. There's the crowd. All of these stuff. Okay, and similarly, if I want to say use this image, it even tells me that it detects the name of the person, because machine has learned that this is a popular person, and it tells me that the caption of this person is such and such because standing in front of a building. And it doesn't tell that he's holding the World Cup, but yeah, this thing is probably, it's learning as well, where it could start telling that later. So this is how multiple other stuff can be done. Again, this is one example where we are building a project called a Seeing AI project, in which we want to, I'll just show you this part, where this is a photograph of a person jumping on a skateboard, and in this part, it's telling the text that a man in a black shirt is doing a trick on a skateboard. Now there's a project called the Seeing AI project where we guys are working with a company to build the Seeing AI app. So check this out if you want to do that later. But in effect, it's helping blind people see the world environment around them, where just based on the photographs that this guy is wearing with his goggles, it's a goggle where you could take images and start analyzing on top of it. It can start using computer vision, speech recognition, and multiple other stuff to tell what is the world around him. And that's really great for anyone who's blind, who doesn't know what is going on. So based on that, he can directly click a photograph and tell that there's a person on a skateboard doing this, or probably if there's a meeting going on, there are two people sitting, but they're happy, they're surprised, they're sad. So this is something that Microsoft is doing right now. So there's one more example where this is a part where I could use my speaker recognition API. So I have multiple files here, audio files, and within them, if I just go to, say, the downloads, recordings, TS01. So this is a part where I had given it a sample file. It had learned on those part on top of it, and it tells me here that the identified speaker ID is this. The speaker is Saurabh Kirtani, and it's giving me confidence as well. There are two speaker audio files which are there in my local system. Once I send to these APIs, it can give me a confidence level whether the speaker recognition has taken place or not. All right. And again, there was just, these are the demos. We've just seen through this, computer vision API, demos. So these are some of the apps which are powered by cognitive services. If you want to check them out later, you can. Where it has a caption bot and celebs like .me, where you can tell which are the celebs that you resemble very closely to. So for example, I mean, there are some funny replies coming in here, so feel free, go have a look. Captionbot.ai, where you can get a caption where it tells you Bill Gates is standing in front of a computer and he seems happy. Project Murphy, where you can ask some question like, what if Sachin was something, or what if I was Sachin, and stuff like that. It will start morphing those images on top of those stuff, again using multiple cognitive services API, and use it. There was just recent news 2 days back that Uber has started using cognitive services for their driver selfie application, where a driver has to take a selfie before at regular intervals to ensure that there is security, and the file that they have on system is same as the photograph being clicked, and if it is not, the company gets in touch with the driver and sorts things out. Again, so multiple uses of cognitive services, seeing AI app, this I've already showed you. With that, that's it. This was a short talk, 15-minute, 20-minute talk. So if you have any questions, feel free, but I'll let Bridge now take the stage. Thank you.